So I believe I might have moved that a little. As I'm looking at that, I think I might have moved it a little. I could try using this big one. The advantage of that is this one's not going to bend much, even with 2 screw holes. And what I need to do is get me a couple of sockets, because on these bolts here, if I use this one, it's going to be all about the size of one of those little 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch sockets. Let me get me a couple of them spaces in there. See, in this case, I'm using these little sockets as spacers to snug this tool up into place there. Because what was happening before was that these screws were a little too long. That way I can snug this up pretty good, and this isn't flexible like the store-bought one that I had and I was using a while ago. This won't bend. That actually might work. Let's see if we get this to snug up down on there good. Might do the trick. That's about 1/4 inch steel there, so. I need a big bigger one of these. It's probably about a 3/4 or 7/8. One thing I like about this camera that I can see right now is a little light blinking on the front of it, which tells me that it's working. Because sometimes on some cameras I've had, I don't always know if they're working or not. So that's a 15/16. I've got my big ratchet drive for that. Alright, let's see what happens here. Tight. Doesn't much want to come off. Probably only been on there since about 65. See, my whole motor's rolling over. I have to find something to stick in that to keep that from rolling. He's either going to come off or break something. One way or another. Mercy sakes. Oh, fire. She's bending that metal even that metal she's bending. And I'm not sure. You've been in my little bolts over there too. And see, there's really not much of a way to drill. I'm not sure how you would get that off in a situation like this. That's pretty tricky right there. Sure. Pretty tricky. I don't know about that. Guess I could get a bigger hammer and hit it a couple times. Sometimes a bigger hammer helps. I might try something different. Maybe. I wonder if I could get a clamp on one side of this thing, like right over here. And that's it. I got some of these kind of like vice grippy kind of not big enough. That might do it. Okay. Put that there. Now I'll tighten this up over here. I can bend that some. At least that way. Get a straight pull on it. Of course, I might break off one of these screws too. I mean, that's something to think about. Gotta be careful not to put too much pressure on them. Alright, so we're either gonna have some success or some failure here in a little bit. I guess we'll see which we have. Spreading my vice grips beyond where they want to be. I wonder if heating that shaft would get me anywhere. What I think I'm going to do before I break something here is I think I'm going to take this off, take this whole thing off, see if I can get some heat. Get a torch and just get it, aim it up in the center of that, just heat it all up good and hot. And I may not do this today because I think I'm going to have to work on my torch. I was talking about how those, cables, hoses were didn't look like they were in very good shape, so I'm going to back this off. And the other thing I can do is squirt some more lubrication up in this thing. Let it sit overnight with that. Not that I think that's going to matter too much, but you never know. Every little bit could help. I suppose I could, if it wasn't for this Corona isolation virus thing, I could go and get me some grade 8 bolts, because I got a feeling these bolts are not very sturdy, and I could probably wind up stripping or breaking one of them off in there too, and I'd have a worser mess than I got now. Worser, that's a word, that's a real word, worser. Yeah, if y'all don't believe me, just ask any old farmer, he'll tell you. Pretty much. You can ask Cutworm, he knows about stuff like that. He's secretly, a lot of people don't know this, but Cutworm's an English major. But he don't like for that to be known because he doesn't want to ruin his reputation. So y'all don't tell him I told you that. That's true. And see, that looks a little bit like it's moved some. It almost looks a little crookedy, which is kind of interesting. It shouldn't be crookedy, but it almost looks like it is. Yeah, I think it's actually moved a little. It may be where it's moved a little if I could get some freeze off up in there to get down on that shaft. Yeah, and have that sink into it. We'll let this sit till tomorrow morning. I always make a mess, I think, and I think every time I do something well, I'll probably make a big mess, but that's all probably part of the fun. So I'm gonna walk away from my mess just as it is and come back tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll start with that torch that's over there. And we'll see if we can get it working. If we can get it working, we'll shoot some heat up in that and kind of go from there. Y'all okay with that? If not, just write Cutworm a letter. We can complain to him, even though the coronavirus is going on. Cutworm hasn't taken a vacation, so if you complain to him, he will address your concerns almost immediately, if not sooner. So So I guess I could wash my hands with some of that Gojo juice over there, and that would keep me from handling things in the house. Prone to get dirtied up. Oh, the joy. That's pretty good stuff. I'm gonna get my towel and wipe my hands on.